What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So let's start this video with the physique update of Nathan De Asha, who is now less than 3 weeks out of Italy Pro, the first show of the season for him. So he is gonna stay and train at the Oxygen Gym Kuwait, all the way till Dubai Pro 2024. As per scheduled, Nathan plans to compete in 2 shows after Italy Pro, Portugal and Dubai. Now winning the Olympia, which isn't possible for Nathan, or even placing top 5 at the Olympia level, that isn't Nathan's goal anymore. And realistically speaking, he isn't a top 5 guy in the world, at least not in this era. Plus the fact that he hasn't been on the Olympia stage for 5 years now, because of his visa problems. I don't think his chances of competing at the Olympia again are very high. His goal is to get close to 20 pro wins before he retires. And he has got 2 or maximum 3 years to accomplish that. So as of right now, if I'm not mistaken, he is currently at 11 pro wins, which is the most number of pro wins by an active IFB pro. But then again, I have to say a guy like Hadi Choopan or Derek or Nick Walker, they can win as many shows as they want to. But their goal is to win only one show, and that is the Mr Olympia. So different perspectives, different goals, different aims. So for Nathan, 2024 is all about redeeming himself. Especially what happened at that post-Olympia tour, where he suffered from 2 losses. Now losing to a guy like Samson Dauda, that wasn't a big deal. But he also lost to guys like Behrouz Sabani and Michael Krizo, and even that was understandable. But getting beat by guys like Rubiel Mosquera as well as Horsemdi, that wasn't expected, none of us expected that. So Nathan will surely be competing against Behrouz Sabani as well as Rubiel Mosquera in these upcoming shows. And maybe if Michael Krizo decides to jump into Italy Pro, he will have a chance to beat him as well. Now whether he can do that or not, that is a separate debate. But it will be another chance for him to stand next to the 7th best guy in the world. So Nathan right now in his recent update, he looks right on the money. Conditioning looks absolutely spot on. Again, I have to say it is really doubtful that whether he will compete at the Olympia stage, regardless of whether he qualifies or not. So all these shows are the ones that count for him the most. Next up, we have a physique update from California Pro Champion, Tonio Burton. So there was never any doubt that Tonio will qualify for the Olympia this year. But I do believe he lost some of his ground, some of his hype, by getting beaten by a guy like Martin Fitzwater at the New York Pro this year. Now, almost everyone knew that Nick Walker is gonna be the 2 times New York Pro Champion. But most of us thought that Tonio Burton is gonna be the one fighting with him for the first spot. Because not only was he the defending champion, but he was the 8th best bodybuilder in the world according to the Olympia last year. Plus the fact that he has a very complete physique, especially from the back, when he turns around, it is absolutely nuts. Both of his back shots, the back double as well as back lat spread, they are so damn good. But standing next to guys like Nick Walker as well as Martin Fitzwater, it made all of us realize that Tonio Burton still lacks this size, especially in comparison to all these top guys. So not taking anything away from Tonio, he is a great bodybuilder, and he is gonna get more and more dangerous with every passing year as he puts on more mass, as he puts on more size in all the right areas. And the fact is, he absolutely dominated that whole Cali Pro lineup, and all the guys that he beat at that show, they were all bigger than him. So the guy is so round and so bubbly and so 3D, and all that allows him to create an insane illusion on the stage, especially with that huge quad sweep that allows him to create an insane V-taper. But I have to say, him saying that he wants to crack top 6 at this year's Mr Olympia, that isn't gonna happen. And no disrespect to Tonio Burton, but with guys like Martin Fitzwater, Nick Walker, Big Ramy in there, and also Rafael Brandao, the chances of him cracking top 6, they are almost 0. Even if he is able to retain his 8th spot from last year, that is gonna be a huge deal. So his aim should be to crack at least top 10 at this year's Mr Olympia. Because the kind of lineup that we have this year, even that isn't gonna be easy. Ramon Dino is putting out a lot of content on his Instagram. We are just under 19 weeks out of the Olympia this year, and the intensity of his workouts are off the charts. So Ramon Dino has been pushing some really heavy weights in the last few weeks, and that is exactly what we expect from him. The feedback that he got from the judges after the Arnold Classic Ohio this year, that wasn't just to be in the same condition as last year's Mr Olympia, because at the finals of the Arnold, he was pretty much in a similar condition as he was at the Olympia. It was the density that was missing from his physique at this year's Arnold, the kind of density that he had at the Olympia last year. So even though Ramon wasn't at his best at this year's Arnold, still that was good enough to place 2nd. And that too by just 1 point against Wesley Weezers. And I think all of us can agree, if Ramon Dino showed up the way he did at the finals at the prejudging as well, he would have won that show. So unless we see Wesley Weezer standing next to Chris Bumstead and push him the same way Ramon did last year, I believe Ramon Dino is still the closest guy to see Bum. So what do you guys think? Will we see another two-man call-out at this year's Mr Olympia between Chris Bumstead and Ramon Dino as the last two men standing? Well, looking at the way he has been training since losing the Arnold this year, that can very well be the case. But do let me know what you guys think. It is kinda too bad that we aren't gonna see Andrew Jacked at this upcoming Dubai Pro. But Texas Pro on the other hand is now less than 10 weeks away, and things have started to look great for Andrew Jacked. Skipping this year's Arnold, that was certainly a tough call, but definitely the right one, because we all know there would not have been any significant improvements in his physique if he competed at this year's Arnold as well, and then do another show afterwards to qualify for this year's Mr. Olympia, just like he did Texas Pro last year as well, after the Arnold Classic to secure his Olympia spot. So this time off will come in handy the next time Andrew steps on stage, because this has been the first long off season ever since he won his pro card. He has been continuously competing since 2022. He did every single Olympia, every single Arnold, and at least one another show. So Andrew was so impressive in his rookie year that people thought he could challenge Big Ramy for the title in 2022. Now obviously that did not happen because of the lack of thickness in his side as well as his back, plus the fact that he got a little sick just a couple of weeks before the Olympia that year. And Andrew was far from his personal best at the Olympia last year as well. But with months of uninterrupted off-season and with a much-needed off-season under his belt now, we expect to see some significant changes in his physique at Texas Pro this year. Now, contrary to what people said, he was extremely impressive at this year's Pittsburgh Pro guest posing. Andrew is the most symmetrical physique in the men's open bodybuilding today, and he was arguably one of the biggest guys at this year's guest posing. Milo Sarcev, even back when he was working with Samson Dauda, he himself admitted that Andrew has a bare X-frame, he has a bare V-taper, plus he has a smaller waist than Samson, but he lacks thickness. So let's just hope that he brings that up for Texas Pro this year. Rubiel Mosquera aka Next Leg crushing another leg workout out there in Oxygen Gym Kuwait. So will he ever be able to get more separation in his quads? This question isn't based on how his legs look right now. He has a pump on, so his quads are supposed to look like that. But there are some examples at the highest level of bodybuilding. For instance, we have Ahmad Ashkenani, the top 212 guy, who went through his entire professional career without getting any separation, those deep cuts in his quads. This just goes to show us the importance of genetics, especially at the highest level. So Rubiel has been on the low carbs for a few weeks now, chasing that conditioning, which really is a smart idea. So was he truly peeled at Pro last year, which was his pro debut? Well, his trainer and his coach Chris Cormier said that even though he looked great, but he can be improved, and that is bound to happen as he competes more. And again, we have to keep in mind, that was only his first show in the men's open, and he had such a huge impact on the bodybuilding world. So there is definitely some pressure on him for this upcoming Dubai Pro, because everyone expects to see him in a better condition and a better version of himself in 6 weeks' time. And his rematch with Nathan De Asha is gonna be another factor, because he has to beat him again to prove that it wasn't just a fluke. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.